Hello and welcome to Bloodsouls. It's, off camera, did a lot of grinding and also +3 this, +3 this. Probably not gonna use it yet, but I don't know, maybe. Apparently, it's just, is it better? It doesn't look better. Why does it show? Okay, there you go. For some reason it was showing blue, and then I figured out why. So let's level up a bit. We have several souls to spare. Actually, let me, because reason that I chose this weapon to just, casually +3, because as A tier deck scale, it's probably going to go to S tier scale when we level it up a little more. So I wonder if the damage is ever worth it. If I were to do all this, doesn't seem like it's ever worth it, but it is a curved sword. We won't be doing that though. We won't be maxing out our damage and nothing else. We're gonna do maybe like this. We want a little strength, but maybe not, because it's Dex focus for sure. So I don't know if we should care about anything else. It does suck that our luck is down, because that's actually useful for our bleed, and our scythe bleeds. By the way, speaking of our scythe, I'm a little upset. I was using this. There's a reason why I had to get blind. Um, let's test it on you. Every time that you attack, you cause some bleeding to yourself. And it passes, it goes down real quick, but it's still there. Could be dangerous. I don't know yet. Just a little annoying, I suppose. Let's go ahead and buy. Can we buy anything? I don't really want to hold on to this. It doesn't seem like we can buy anything. Dragon Rider Twin Blades. It's just a halberd. Doesn't even matter. We could get armor. Things that were like pretty light. So I don't think we can find something equally light. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here though, so maybe I'll buy. You know, it's still very confusing. These are armor pieces. Okay, a mass of humanity. Actually, where does it go? On the head? It actually seems very strong, because it like negates basically all dark damage. I forgot exactly how absorption works, but I think 300 absorption would just negate all of it and turn it to 0. Maybe not, but I don't know. I imagine. Let's see. Almost certain that Dancer does dark and fire, so dark damage. I wonder, right? Because when they do the AOE, when Dancer does the AOE attack, it's like you would maybe it's all dark damage. I don't know. We're doing science. We're gonna stand in the AOE attack. Are we gonna do that? Sure. Uh, call this bad boy up. So hopefully with this amount of a head start on the series, we should be like on the level to, scale with the difficulty and everything. It was just not possible with the other preset character. It feels bad, but like honestly very glad that I pivot, because this is gonna be better. Also, what's this? Free money. Alright, to Dancer, aka Smelter Demon old and fit. And then we'll see what's after that. Might as well collect this weapon, even though it is not going to be used. And please let me in. Don't stop me now, 'cause I'm having such a good time. Don't sing the rest of the song. You'll get copywritten. Struck and die. Alright. Oh, you're still alive, huh? Anyway, as we start this fight, and hopefully just like beat it without breaking a sweat, our head. Um, Not too long ago on this series, I talked about Cyberpunk. Since then, it came out because we have a bit of a backlog going. And dude, I forgot how dark it is. I know I complain about it all the time, but it's true. Um, First of all, like honestly seems oh my what? What happened? Don't use that helmet, I suppose. Not sure what happened, but I just like my entire character turned into a blob of darkness, and then uh, what does the helmet say? It's just show me massive humanity. Nope, it's that's wrong. Well then, we're gonna go back to being normal, please. That's nice. Uh, so a lot of people are being like is bad. Honestly, I just from like looking at it, I disagree. I think it's actually like first of all highly ambitious, but it's actually seems great. Um, so last time that I talked about it, I was like they're kind of skipping out on the accessibility thing. It's still bad. That is still a bad thing, and I definitely would please would definitely deserve backlash for that. They definitely do. But despite, with that in mind, talking more about, the content of the game, there's a lot of people that are just like, it's a buggy mess. Despite being delayed a bunch, it still doesn't really run well. And it does have its bugs, but I mean, it is a very big game, very ambitious. You have to keep all that stuff in mind, really. And when you do, it doesn't seem like everybody like the bugs that everybody are experiencing are very minor. Like it's usually just audio stuff. And if it's visual stuff, it's like, oh, their mouth isn't moving when they talk for this particular moment, and then it moves again after a little while. It's like a lot of the bugs aren't a big deal. When it is a big deal, I think it's just optimization. And I mean, we're really just like crossing every subtopic that I had for Cyberpunk. Optimization wise, because it's so ambitious, it is hard to run. There's just like I have a feeling that a lot of the issues are just like you're trying to load something, but you can't. Uh-oh. I died. All right. Well, you know what? We can just say goodbye to this run. Dead. Um, optimization wise, it's just a big city. I don't see a lot of popping in and out when you're watching somebody with like a supercomputer, 30 X X whatever, NVIDIA computer with all these high specs. But then if you're more like, oh, I have 1070, it's like you can run it, but like, can you? You're probably gonna run into some issues. Um, I think that's the root of all the bugs. Is like, oh, try to load something in, but it took too long to loaded in a little late, and things kind of broke because of that. Because that happens, right? You know, you're like, let's say you're driving real fast, you drive to a certain spot, and then a car which hadn't loaded in before finally loads in a little late, and it loads in inside of you, right? That really that dates back to like games, Grand Theft Auto, really, stuff like that. So bug wise, I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's fine. There's a lot of complaining, but like, it's such a big game that if you expected it to be perfect off the bat, you're insane. I'm dead. I spec all this into health for what? For what? Gonna be here a little while. That's all right. That's why you keep the conversation flowing. Um, and I mean, it's got like a lot of reviews real early on since being released. By the way, too many reviews too early on, because I checked it like 24 hours after release. It's like, oh, isn't that funny? There's like 60,000 reviews when it's only been 24 hours and the story length is like 30, minimum 30. What's up with that, right? And a lot of those reviews were like people who had 1.8 hours in the game, thumbs down, and were like, it didn't show that they had refunded it yet, but they were probably waiting for Steam to like look at their review or their request to refund and be like, oh, yep, under 2 hours, and you gave the reason that you don't like the game or you can't run it or something, and that's why. And then the whole review is just like, I I was 2 hours in, but I only got through the tutorial and the character creator, so I'm just gonna judge the character creator for 20 minutes straight. I saw at least two reviews that were like, the character creator is so just unintuitive. You have to press the scroll left or right to see the options instead of just showing all the options on the screen at the same time. It's ridiculous. And don't even get me started on the the genitalia. All right, I said it. You were expecting it, which I I mean, it's a good time to pivot because I have nothing else to say. People be hating popular games. That's how it is. Don't fall into that trap. Like, oh, people hating popular games. Maybe popular game is bad. Not true. And I'll get back to that. But first of all, uh, please cover your child's ears. The use of like nudity is in a more artistic way often in the game, in the story, and it's a appreciable. I think that's always been CD Projekt Red, but I think they're leaning more into it this time, and it's admirable, honestly, because it's like in video games, it's really like just highly is the word taboo to have nudity, because then it's just like, actually, gamers are horny, and the nudity is just like, this is no longer a real video game. This is just uh my how do I say this? This is my outlet for busting it. All right, and disturbingly, it's probably still true. It's probably some group of people, very minor group of people, still gonna be like that, but uh That's just gamers. They always figure it out. Have you seen the mods for Dark Souls 3? It's like it proves my point. Let me just keep it at that. Um, Now that said, it's probably still have a problem with just like, well, maybe I should rephrase, probably still have a problem with just walking around the city without any clothes, and it's just cool. I mean, it is just cool, it's weird. And that segues. First of all, I guess since from 2020 to 2077, they were just like, you know what? Public indecency, just remove that law. And then also, apparently remove the law that states no more horny ads, because if you look at that game, 90% of the fake ads are horny. And I do actually hate it just because of the lack of creativity. Like literally every product is like beer, just put two pairs of big ones between the beer. Not two pairs, just a pair of big ones. And the beer's in between. Yep, that's an ad. All right, what's the next one? Just selling like a pack of sugar. Just put a butt. Just put a butt. It doesn't really matter where. Just put a butt. That's a lot of the ads. It's just look. I mean, maybe I'll look this up real quick. Cyberpunk 2077 ad. Wait, I realize now that that search is probably foolish. I mean, it doesn't really work. There is also like an ad for a fake TV show in the game where it's just a lady bent over a toilet and she's like this watch this drama show where we follow Watson and she is sucking away the competition. You get it? It's all horny. Why didn't as developers, why couldn't you just like make something that's not horny? All right? I said it. Not everything has to be horny just because it's 2077. How have we devolved in 57 years? Um that's about it for my piece on the ads. I think my point is clear. Might be interested in swapping weapons soon because the Reaper's not doing anything crazy. We might be able to double our damage just by swinging twice when we can. Uh, Let me go. Another thing about the game, I mean, it blends like literally every genre ever. That's why it's so ambitious. Is like first of all, the world is beautiful for sure. Like I mean, they certainly delivered on the graphics, and the world itself it looks great. But that's not the only thing that's so good about it, about the ambition. We're gonna swap weapons. Not having fun with the Reaper is all the genres. So first of all, they just have like so many mechanics that like you would expect them expect the mechanics to like certain games build these mechanics around. I said that wrong, I think. certain games take a mechanic and build around it. You know, like Watch Dogs, hacking is the whole deal. It's the reason why you play it. In Cyberpunk, literally just hack anything, and is just natural. You know, you can hack a camera, turns it off, or you can turn it against the enemy, I think, and then the camera will hack enemies and deal damage to them. And the camera can also just hack you and deal damage to you. And then, I mean, like at first I was like, this is not going to be a mechanic that is used often, but you can like literally use it anywhere. A lot of the electronics, minus people, I suppose, you can just hack them. And another one, if you've heard of the game Observer, is a thriller slash horror sort of game where you just kind of like look into the past and replay, ouch, dead, and you replay moments in time. They also just have that as a mechanic. It's like it's totally editable where you just replay. You can like rewind or forward time in this like interactable video. Is cool. And then on top of that, there's also, you know, the gunplay. A lot of these, I mean, I don't know how well tuned it is for damage tables, but uh the gunplay seems good, you know, above average. It's not bad. Like you just aim and click. So I think that's really it's good enough, especially when you're being handed all these other things. Like unarmed combat is like super fleshed out. Why do they always get me? I'm always just like, oh, it's just talking. So focused on talking, I get breathed on. Uh, Unarmed combat, there's like dodging, strafing, blocking, parrying, and strong or weak punches. It's like everything, right? It's crazy, and there's also melee weapons which follow a similar thing. I forgot to change weapons. It's no big deal. We can do it now. Wait, I forgot. All right. Well, that didn't play toward me. That was oopsie. Dude, Age Smelter Demon is broken. How did we get so close to beating him that one time? It's like the first time we fought him. We got him below half. Um, and there's also like other additional things like, you know, attachments for weapons. There's crafting. You can craft attachments or you can craft weapons. There's uh armor. You can craft armor. Armor has weight, so does most of the items. You got to manage your weight, which I don't like, but I mean it's a thing. Um, there's also like uh not really character traits, but I don't know what else to call them. Skill trees, basically. There's like so many skill trees. It's insane. Um, First of all, there's like you start off the game with like six points to spec into anything, but you can just uh keep leveling up after the start of the game. Um, the skill tree's vast and insane. There's six genres of skills. You know, like this one's hacking, this one's going to be more focused on melee, this one's more on gunplay, so on and so forth. Then there's like 2 to 4 subgenres within each one. Like if you're focused on melee, then here's more health, here's more stamina, here's more melee traits. And in those subgenres, there's like 15 different things that you can spec into, each of them with like between 1 to 3 leveling points, which aren't even that common, honestly. But it's just so many options. It's a little dizzying. Like let's say if you wanted to spec into more health, well, this one will be like, hey, just here's a flat plus 1% health. But in this one, every time you get hit, reflect 0.02 if it's melee damage, and you level that up or something. It's just so many traits. It's dizzying. Dude, if we won this, that would be great. It'd be great. Um. Oh no. I'm really trying to focus a little, but I'm also like fishing for a topic. I'm like, I could talk about this, but it's kind of a spoiler. And then I'm like, oh, I could also talk about this, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm dead, so not that big of a deal. It's a good thing I didn't start talking about it. What do I do? I mean, I'm literally like, I could +4 this weapon. That's the only thing I can do. That's the only thing that makes me better. And it's like, it's so easy to just be like, oh, just no hit Dancer. It's just not a fun fight for me. I just don't like Dancer as a boss. That's why I do worse because of that reason. That's genuinely the psychology behind it. So I think next episode I will beat it. Uh, but this was a good episode for other reasons. Talked about Cyberpunk, having a lot of fun watching that. Um, Gamers do be horny, and I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, hit the like button. Also, subscribe if you're not already, because I appreciate it. Oof, ouch, oof, fire, oof, ouch, pain.